Welcome to Fool's Key Tarot. I'm Ben, and this is a daily reading for Sunday, May 18th, 2025. Let's see what the cards have in store for us today. First, the Five of Swords. This could represent a defeat or a humiliation of some kind, but you might be the one doing the defeating, or it could happen to you. The next card is the Emperor, Major Arcana number 4. Representing logic and reason and rules and boundaries. Finally, we have the Fool, Major Arcana number 0, who is at the very beginning of their journey. Their mind is open. They have no expectations. They have no sense of the past or future in the normal way that you and I might think consciously about the past or future. They, of course, have their past experiences represented by the little knapsack, but they don't think about them in an intentional way. They simply draw upon them when necessary without overthinking it or complicating the issue. This is a very free spirit who is usually traveling or open to any experience that the world brings upon them. And when we look at it in the context of the full reading, there's a real contrast between the open, free Fool and the more constrained and restrained Emperor, who enforces logic and reason, which the Fool has no interest in. And so I think that there is a tension right now in your life between trying to go with the flow and do what feels right versus what you think is right, or what you're allowed to do, or what you are supposed to do. Maybe there's something that you feel like doing, but you're not allowed to, or there will be some negative consequence, or there's some reason in your mind where you think, I better not do this thing, but I really feel like doing it. Now, the Five of Swords can be a bitter moment. It can be a sore loss, or being a sore loser, whether that's you who's the sore loser, or maybe you defeat somebody and then they are a sore loser. So I think that there could be a defeat that sets you free. Whether you vanquish an enemy that has been holding you back and now you're free and ready to go, or somebody defeats you and it might sting, but it opens you up now to new possibilities, a new avenue, a new world even. Maybe you wouldn't have chosen it for yourself, but after this defeat, you have no option. And now that you are forced down this path, it might feel strangely freeing to be in this new area that is suddenly full of potential. And maybe you didn't recognize it before. Maybe it required this victory or this defeat to open into this realm. But there's a complication. The Emperor here is trying to block that transition. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. The Emperor has reasons for the rules that they enforce. And so whatever reason there is not to fully embrace this new path, they probably are good reasons. It may be that after this loss, you are missing a piece that would be required or helpful to explore this new world, and maybe you feel like without that you are not prepared to do it. And if that's the case, then that's probably a wise thought. The Emperor is not here to lead you astray. They're here to remind you of the force of gravity or the force of reason, to bring you back to reality. So I think that you need a healthy mixture of rules and boundaries to go along with this more free-form exploration. And those rules and boundaries might be sourced from this conflict that has recently occurred or is about to occur. It may be that there's some penalty to pay from this conflict, whether or not you are the winner or the loser. There's lingering effects that continue to eat at you or that you are obligated to follow. And I think that those are holding you back from fully embracing this new spirit. But that's okay. You want a little bit of restraint. While the Fool is an incredibly powerful energy to embody, it can be terrifying and even dangerous to completely fall into its way of thinking. Notice how they dance near the edge of this cliff, and there's always a risk of falling over the cliff. And the Emperor is wanting to make sure that that does not happen. So I would consider what it is about this conflict that is restraining you or holding you back, and make sure that you respect that. Don't just throw it away. Don't try to ignore it, but don't give too much weight or credence to it either. The Emperor wants you to follow the rules and boundaries that they have set forth, but within those rules and boundaries, they want you to be free to explore completely. In other words, you should go right up to the edge of the boundary and not past it. The Emperor lays their boundaries in a very specific way, and there's no point in giving too much leeway and saying, well, there's the boundary, I better not get too close to it. No, if the Emperor didn't want you to go that far, they would have made the boundary closer. You're allowed to go right up to the edge, just don't go over the edge. So the Fool is telling you, explore and go close to the edge. The Emperor is saying, watch out. Don't go over it. Stay in reality, even as you wander. And whatever conflict this is, whether you are the winner or the loser, I think the key to knowing what those boundaries are, what those rules are, and how grounded to be, the key to understanding that is gonna come from understanding this conflict and extracting a lesson from it. There's a consequence or an inference that you can make from that conflict, and the Emperor wants to make sure that you have that knowledge in your mind as you go exploring, and that's gonna make sure you don't fall over the edge of the cliff. If you enjoyed this reading, then subscribe to see more, and if you'd like to learn about tarot cards or try some of my online guided readings, then head on over to foolskey.com where you can check that out. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow.